Claretian Superior General reflects on the legacy of Pope Francis. Welcome to iClaret News, April 2025. As you know, Pope Francis returned to the Father's house on Easter Monday, April 21st, 2025. In gratitude for his life, his Claretian ministry, and the personal bond he shared with him, our Superior General Father Matthew Watamatam published a heartfelt reflection titled Touched by a Shepherd's Heart, My Personal Encounters with Pope Francis. The following interview offers a deeper insight into the essence of that message. April 27th marked Claretian Mission Day 2025, celebrating the vital role of women in the Church's mission. With the theme Women Agent of Evangelization and Empowerment, the day highlighted female leadership in teaching, service, and evangelization. The General Commission of the Claretian Spirituality Congress met in Rome from April 7 to 11 to draft the final document and a guide for spiritual conversation in community. The practical tool gathers key insights from the 2024 Congress, aiming to renew Claretian missionary and synodal spirituality across the congregation. In Pyongyang, South Korea, the 6th Assembly of the Claretian Delegation was held from April 21 to 26, 2025. With a spirit of discernment, Father Manuel Ezaparampil was reappointed Major Superior alongside Father Michael Park and Father Stefano Cho as consultors. Father Carlos Verga, the President of the Assembly, urged Claretians to journey as a compassionate church close to youth. In Szylina, Mala, Poland, 21 Claretian missionaries gathered from April 22 to 25 for their provincial assembly, led by Father Pedro Beldarrain, General Prefect of Apostolates. Focusing on parish renewal, they engaged lay collaborators, welcomed Bishop Jacek Kiselski, and explored evangelization tools, renewing commitments to mission through prayer, dialogue, and synodal reflection with the wider church. For Madrid, Spain, the 54th National Week for Consecrated Life, organized by the Instituto Teológico de la Vida Religiosa, focused on the theme, We Need to Recover the Importance of the Heart. Held during the Easter octave, the event gathered hundreds in person and online to reflect on emotional depths in consecrated life amid Pope Francis' passing. Changes are underway at the General Curia in Rome. Father Lord Winner concludes 9 years of service as Father Gabriel Ponce becomes the new General Mission Procurator. Father Bijo Anthony John Sesk for La Fragua in English. The congregation thanks them and prays for their new missions. Hello, Father General. After the death of Pope Francis, how did your personal encounter with him shape your understanding of leadership and mission in the church?
One of the first insights for me is to see the congregation as a responsibility of everyone. No? That synodal spirituality, which the Pope applied to the church. Every baptized is responsible for the church, for the mission. Jesus has entrusted, and there are different roles. So I would look at the congregation as a co-responsibility of all of us who are proposed and in different roles. Whether I am a superior general operating from Rome, another missionary maybe in the Amazonias, in Russia, doing the same mission, but with different roles. Secondly is listening to what the Spirit is saying to us. It's not the liking or disliking of the superior general or provincial, but the whole question of listening to the Spirit and together listening. And this way I have sometimes made comments that it is not the liking or the disliking of the superior general that should guide the congregation, but the whisper of the Holy Spirit to all of us and in the church. Therefore, we have a collective responsibility to listen to the Spirit. And I have my personal responsibility to protect that my own inclinations, my likings do not prevent that. I think the same is valid for every one of us. No? Another insight which I learned from him is to see the congregation not just from Rome, but from the peripheries. And the congregation is alive and active in the various missions. And to see the congregation from that perspective, not so much from our relation in Vatican or so-called administrative levels, which are important, the ethos of the congregational charism is in our communities. And seeing congregation from that perspective is also very important. Another aspect is this accompaniment. No? None of us are perfect. We cannot be solitary missionaries. We cannot live also as collections of missions. And I sometimes use potatoes in a sack, no? Together but disconnected. That's not Claretian mission. We need to care for one another, help us to grow in our vocation, together. And thus, therefore, this co-responsibility, mutual accompaniment is also something I have learned from the inspirations of the Pope.
What did the Pope Francis teach you or teach the congregation about responding with faith and compassion during moments of crisis or pain or difficulties?
Well, the very life of the Pope, which was always very often facing challenges, criticisms, ridicule from within the church and from outside. I remember those days from when some of those bishops made an accusation and even considered that he is not a real pope because the previous bishop resigned and he should be resigning, etc., with their own agendas. But the calm way of addressing this and even allowing an investigation into some of those accusations was for me a big lesson that we face criticisms as perspectives that one may not have, or accusations as an invitation to look into objective facts, because truth makes us free.
How did the late Pope affirm and inspire Claretian missionary spirit throughout his pontificate?
He knew the congregation, particularly some of the Claretians he has named at different times, like Father Torres. He was very close with Cardinal Aquilino Bocos. He valued his service. He knew Abella and then the publications in Argentina and Madrid, the Gustavo and Fernando, etc. I had also a few occasions to personally meet him, and I've experienced the warmth and appreciation for our missionaries. Well, coming to our congregation, I think we have journeyed with the teaching of the pontificate, the magisterium, just as we did before, during the time of John Paul II. The chapter of 2015 took place in the context of what I would call the Magna Carta of mission, the Evangelii Gaudium, which we studied before the chapter. And when we had the meeting with the Pope, I told him the Evangelii Gaudium was written to Claretians. It was so touching and so relevant for us missionaries. Then one of the different writings of the Pope has shaped our own understanding and our own journey, and particularly the synodal journey. We have initiated that in the last chapter, conversations, which we call generative. Then the various writings like Laudato Si and Fratelli Tutti, and they had their own impact on us, and our own reflections on SOMI, Solidarity Mission. Then the youth, we received a good impetus. And recently our document on vocations is very much influenced by the Pope's teaching and his own impact. Another thing for us, particularly the discernment which he taught in Gaudete Exultate number 166, speaking of the discernment, how to know that an impulse comes from God or from human inclinations or from the devil. Then the other writings of the Pope on the holiness, naturally, and then the St. Joseph etc. So we have been journeying as a congregation, listening and to the Pope and his teacher. We actually did not go much with the controversies because I was also insisting we first study, not learn what Pope teaches from the social media, from the critics, but from the documents. And that's why we, as a congregation, we did not go into those controversies about blessing of homosexual marriages, etc. Many false interpretations of his writings. And I would say our congregation as such, not just me, we are very grateful for the gift of the Pope to the world, to our congregation.
Thank you so much, Father, and enjoy your mission in Indonesia.